Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Outcomes Rocket. I'm excited to have Pat Williams back on the podcast. He is the CEO of iScribe. Pat, how are you?
Doing well, Saul. How are you?
Doing great. It's so great to be back at HIMSS together.
Absolutely. HIMSS 26. It's bigger and wilder than ever.
It definitely is. What have been some of the highlights for you?
Oh, gosh. I think the obvious is just seeing the pervasiveness of AI in every booth, right? You literally cannot get past a single booth without some sort of AI application, whether it's real or not. I think that remains to be seen. But yeah, it's remarkable how quickly that's permeated the landscape.
Yeah, it's definitely everywhere. And if you compared, last year was a lot of kind of proof of concept stuff.
Yeah.
This year, it's AI in action.
Absolutely.
It's being used. So just to level set with folks that haven't had a chance to meet you or get to know you, tell them a little bit about you, your background, and also iScribe.
Yeah, so Pat Williams, CEO, co-founder of iScribeHealth. My co-founder, Justin Hips, and I started the business a little over 10 years ago. We've had a very interesting journey. We had a remarkable path pre-AI to getting to where we are today. We started the business in mid-2015, starting with the iPhone, building deep integrations into various EHRs with the original thesis of let's just make EHRs easier to use, easier to navigate, particularly for the high volume ambulatory physician. Orthopedics and other surgical specialties has been a real niche for us where we perform well. That was season 1 of the episode of the Netflix season of our development. Season 2 was really the season of where we did a lot of human scribing. So as our product platform developed, one of the things that became very clear during the rise of the human scribe and during COVID was that physicians really were starting to gravitate to, hey, how can I virtualize this human in the loop experience easily using the same app that we developed in the early days? How can we just, if they so chose as an option, could we send audio to an off-site scribe who wasn't awkwardly sitting in the corner of the room in person, which again was a lot easier to do in the virtual world of COVID and beyond. We built a network of scribes, about 120, 130 people at our peak. And then with the rise of AI, we were perfectly positioned because we had built the integrations, we had access to a lot of data, and we had been doing scribing work in the manual sense for 2.5, 3 years. So we really felt like we were already on second or third base when the AI arms race began. And so we were very quickly able to take the human out of the loop, get to a high level of accuracy and physician acceptance with our models because of that experience pre-AI that I think has proven to be really invaluable. We think about some of the other folks in the space who were, their born on date was only 18 months ago or so. Not having that experience in market, I think, has been a challenge for some of those folks because, again, you don't know what you don't know oftentimes in terms of really where the value is and what the physician acceptance bar is as far as accuracy, customization, integration, all the things that we develop. It's been a journey, but it's a fun place to be.
That's great. Well, you guys are doing fantastic in the market. And as I understand it, the transcription, the note, that's table stakes. Talk to us about where this is going and what you guys are doing as a company.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think what we're seeing in the market is being in that privileged position of the trigger point of documentation, which is all about what occurs in the exam room. That's the real estate that we're fortunate enough to occupy, right? That sacred encounter between physician and patient. That's the essence of healthcare in the U.S. That's also the essence of the documentation that gets captured that has to be super accurate, thorough, fast, and deeply integrated into the system of record, as we know. We're generating that across, today, about 5,000 providers strong across multiple specialties, across multiple EHRs. We expect that to double as we continue to grow throughout the year. So that's a network, right? That's a powerful network of information that's getting generated that includes EHR documentation, claims information, payer patterns that we believe we can leverage into an intelligent network that now can start to get very dynamic in terms of coaching the provider through the documentation process before they ever hit submit to ensure they're adhering to specific managed care rules that could potentially trip them up from a denial perspective. We believe we could prevent those on the front end now because we have this technology at our disposal that's already being deployed at the front end of the process. So the age-old problem of chasing physicians down after documentation was done weeks before are essentially over because of the solutions that we have at our disposal in terms of real-time documentation and AI.
That's a huge advantage. And from your perspective, what are some of the things that folks maybe don't appreciate or maybe underappreciate when considering solutions like this?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind to rehash, that time in market, I think can't be understated when we, in our season of human scribing, right? This was the period where...
And how long was that? The human scribing?
The human scribing phase, I would say, really kicked off in earnest in late 2018, early 2019. It accelerated during COVID as everyone was being asked to leave or work remotely, right, during that period. And it just became very quickly the preferred documentation style that busy, high volume, or particularly orthopedic providers wanted to do. And so they'd reached a point where the human scribe had worked well enough. They'd gotten a taste of it in that mode. And then to be able to virtualize that to where they could, again, pre-AI, walk into the room, capture the visit, and have just that same experience, albeit it was more expensive because they were viewing the loop and the turnaround time was 48 hours. Well, now we're able to compress that. However, there's still an expectation, even though the documentation can be done in real time, that note still needs to be as thorough and comprehensive as if a human scribe painstakingly generated it and audited it and perfected it over that 24 to 48 hour turnaround time process. And again, I think that sort of knowledge and time in market can't be easily replicated if you haven't lived that life as we did. And I think we leveraged that. We did maintain a cohort of our scribe managers who we've essentially converted into prompt engineers. They're actually very much involved and engaged behind the scenes in our model training and our building, so that each and every note that is generated by these high volume providers is in such a format that, again, mirrors what their documents look like 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever the case may be, in a pre-AI world. So yes, physicians, I think, are hungry for the technology. They want it to work, and it is. However, the expectation is high. The bar is high, I think, from an accuracy, integration, workflow perspective that we can help drive, obviously, with our process.
That's great, Pat. And what kind of stories are you hearing from providers?
Yeah, that's the most fun part, right? Of hearing the excitement, the enthusiasm, and it's really age agnostic I think there's an assumption that this technology is only for the young, tech-savvy doctor, but hearing the excitement of the older physician who's been doing it the old way for decades, who may only have 2 or 3 or 4 years left, right, in their careers, they're having the most fun they've ever had because we're removing this historical barrier and almost like a boat anchor that they've been forced to carry around for so long. And now we're just freeing them up and seeing that sort of cognitive load being removed. And what we're hearing directly is, they're able to show up better. They're able to be better doctors. They're able to be better family members. They're better fathers, wives, husbands, sisters, brothers, whatever the case may be. Yeah. That's rewarding to be on the front lines of ushering this.
I think that's awesome. For the folks listening and watching us today, what's the best way they could get in touch with you and the team? How can they figure out if iScribeHealth is right for them? There's so many solutions nowadays.
Yes.
Like, what advice would you give them on picking the right one, and how can they reach out to you guys?
Yeah, obviously our website is the best place to start, iScribeHealth.com. And we encourage our customers and prospects to really do their homework and to absolutely, you should survey the market and you should experiment with various tools to figure out which ones work best for you. We engage with all of our customers in a free, no-risk pilot process. We fully implement, fully integrate. We'll let every provider in the organization, as they should, fully evaluate the solution to determine whether or not it's a good fit for them. And if it's not, hey, great. We'll shake hands and see you around the bend. And if it is, which more often than not that it is, they move forward. So I think having that flexibility and ability to truly try before you buy in a production environment is critical and something that we understand as well as anybody.
That's great. Sounds like you have a no-brainer way to engage, the opportunity for folks to try it out. The website's the best way to get in touch. Any other ways to get in touch with you?
Yeah, my personal LinkedIn page is a great place. I'm very active there through those channels. Feel free to reach out to me directly. Yeah, I'd love to engage with anyone who has any more curiosity about our journey and our path here at iScribe.
Oh, and I almost forgot. I do want to give you a chance to plug your podcast.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, which you've been a big supporter of and are helping with. Yeah, our truly integrated podcast is hot off the press. Who doesn't have a podcast today? However, this one's pretty good. And we're just, again, all we're using this to do is to highlight our customers. Our customers, particularly the physicians, they're the heroes of the story. We're just the enabler. We're here to allow physicians to show up as their best selves, to truly only have to do what they worked so hard to do for so many years, which is to be physicians and caregivers, take care of patients, bring all their attention and focus to that without having to worry whatsoever about what goes on behind the scenes in the back office or from insurance adjudication perspective. That is not why physicians have went into medicine, and nor should it be. So yeah, tune in to the Truly Integrated podcast. You can find it on all major podcast outlets of choice, and look forward to engaging with you there as well.
Yeah, so folks, we'll leave everything in the show notes so you can get in touch with Pat, the team at iScribeHealth. Check out his podcast, Truly Integrated. You're not going to want to miss it because a lot of those stories that Pat has shared about the clients using the platform to make their lives better, their patients' lives better, they're all being shared there. So check that out. And if you guys have any questions, reach out. We'll leave all the ways to get in touch with Pat. Pat, thanks for being with us.
So I'll thank you. Appreciate it. Pleasure to be here.